All right. Y'all, I was looking for my book. I don't know where, child. That's a damn shame. I looked all across the world and here it is. It's on the floor. Was looking for my book. Yes, I got it now. But either way, I wrote down I wrote down some topics, y'all. So, hey, everybody. How are you? How are you? How are you? Many blessings to all of you. Hold on, let me turn my, there we go. Okay, that's better. I can see everything that everybody's saying. Woo. Yeah, I have had a long, very tiring yet interesting day. So I am definitely here for the shits and giggles today. Oh my gosh. So I'm gonna read this list off in 1 second. It's so much going on. So I think I'm gonna keep this one for dead last. Y'all let me know. Why did Oprah allegedly lie on Whitney? So shout out to Jaguar Wright for this one. She did a podcast on her show. I think it's called the Jaguar Wright Experience. And she actually fact checked Oprah's story by checking the schedule of Whitney Houston during that time. And come to find out, Whitney Houston was booked for another event, according to Jaguar Wright, in information and belief, allegedly. So, why would you want to tarnish Oprah? Oprah, why would you want to tarnish Whitney's name the same week that Clive died? Now, very interesting. Why would she be doing PR against a person who perished the night of the Grammy party, and they had this whole shindig downstairs with her body laying there cold instead of allowing them to take her body out of the building? So it's like, Oprah, they were supposed to be honoring you, okay? And out of all the stories that your long titty ass could have told, you get up there and you spoke on Whitney, and Whitney has been gone for what, almost 17 years now? You said that video of Oprah falling had me cackling. Me too. And what had me cackling was not the fall, because Oprah, what the hell did you fall over? It was nothing there to fall. When she said wrong shoes, y'all, I was done. So the shoes threw your ass down? Wrong shoes? Okay, so it's 14 years this year. So she's telling us about something that was 3 years before Whitney passed away, that allegedly happened, that it appears to have not happened at all. Whitney tripped her. I think Whitney threw her. So Daz Dillinger says that 30 years after the Chronic, he has still not been paid his royalties for that album. Glow versus Meg. What's the diss about Meg? Now I remember Glow had did this Pooh Shiesty video a while ago. They had already had the pictures when he first popped out of prison. They did the song. They did the video. It was already queued up. So if that diss is for Meg, if it's addressed to her, that's quite interesting because that song was done a while ago. So quite interesting. We're going to tap into the energy between Glow and Meg. Did Sexy Red security Kyle rob her of $500,000 worth of clothes and jewelry? And does Sexy Red owe him back wages? And if so, Did he rob her to pay the back wages that she owes him? This is like the second story I've heard in the past week about Sexy Red and not paying people. I don't know what's going on. These could be rumors. We don't know. But it's quite interesting that she was in court with Tay Keith and she owed Tay Keith, I want to say, for 11 songs, if I'm not mistaken. That's a lot of music, including the song that she had with Nicki on the remix Pound Town. So, wow. Is Atlantic preparing to replace Cardi with Trim? Rumor has it is that Atlantic is signing Trim. She's supposed to be next up. Are they preparing Trim to take Cardi's place? And last but not least, is Rick Ross actually broke? Or is his story about flying coach to Colombia accurate? Because according to him, he's getting, I think he said Starlink put into his jet, which is a $500,000 Wi-Fi system. That's what he said. So that's what I got. I'm gonna give y'all. Oh, okay, we got like 170 in here. That's what's up, y'all. Off the subject of what I got written down here. So, for those of you who keep up with Brene and Tim, y'all, this situation is so wild with Brene and Tim. I never would have thought in a million years that we would be seeing go from Airbnb to Airbnb to keep from getting served. Like, girl, that's not gonna stop them from garnishing your stuff. Said, did we ever discuss Monaleo and Rock Nation? No, we did not. But interesting enough that you mentioned Monaleo. She is the feature on Trim's Nobody song. So I thought that was quite interesting that the Nobody song already feels, very, very, you know, uh, Nikki's verse on New Body. It feels repurposed, refurbished off of that, in my opinion. And then we get Monaleo. Now, I haven't listened to her and Monaleo's song, so I don't know what it sounds like. I can't be the judge of the song because I haven't listened to it. I absolutely don't know. Um, you know what? I'm gonna let's see. Since we got Trim here, I'll add Monaleo to the mix to see what the deal is here because it feels like all of this is interchangeable. It feels like all of this somehow, some way. Remember, I told y'all like a chain link fits. It's like all of these pieces are linked together in some type of way. You just have to pay attention so that you can figure out, who's rocking with who. Um, I like Mona Leo as well. I personally hope that she doesn't sign with Rock Nation because I don't want them to do Mona Leo the same way that they did Ken the Man. Ken the Man got over there with Rock Nation and it was like they just let her collect dust. And Ken the Man is dope. I don't see why Ken the Man was not pushed because the girl actually got bars she can flow. It to me, it feel like they signed Ken the Man to sit her on the show. And Ken had already been saying that Megan allegedly was stealing from her. So it kind of feels like they may have signed, Ken the Man to sit her down to give Megan more of an open path, which we know didn't work because we got my man, my man, my man, my man, my baby, and child no. And she just put out, like, child, listen, 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 Linda. Hold on. Hold on, hold on, hold on. This is something I meant to say on Wednesday. It slipped my mind. So Megan had a song for FIFA. I don't know if any of you know that. She had a song with David Guetta, which I thought was very interesting, that they had her following behind the feature list of Nicki, low key. Not to say that David Guetta can't work with whoever he wants to work with because, hey, he's a producer, work is work. But I just thought that was interesting that they thought they could go to David Guetta to get the same type of, hit that he had with Nicki. And baby, that song didn't even make it to the top 100 Billboard charts. So at this point, Megan needs a win all the way from the outfield because she's not even on the charts anymore. Like, how does your song for FIFA with David Guetta not chart? And David Guetta, usually because people love dance and world music, he's like a BTS. It's an automatic recipe for success. Not this time. Usually it is, but not this time. So, yeah, I wanted to point that out. Now, if y'all feel like being petty with me, when we're done here, meet me on Twitch. My name on Twitch is the exact same as here on this channel. And we're going to talk about how the music is going to go with the Jay-Z and Megan feature, or excuse me, the Megan and Jay-Z feature, which may possibly contain a diss to Nicki Minaj. Now, I want to talk freely on that one, so we're going to talk on Twitch about that so that we can have some grown folks conversation because there's some stuff due to the guidelines on here we, have to watch what we say. So, I want to have some fun. So, we'll talk about that over on Twitch when we wrap it up here cuz she would be the first artist, the first female artist. Let's put that in perspective. That he's worked with that he didn't do a feature with, and I thought that was odd that she had made it this far in her career with no feature from Jay. But it's like Jay, why would you come when that girl career is all the way down in the septic tank to come and do a feature with her? That feels very, very, what's the point? You already had imaginary players bounce like a bad check, literally within 24 hours, that was gone. Now you're gonna get over here and try to help the Clydesdale get out the mud. And I don't see you being able to really do that. And y'all, another thing, when we get on Twitch, I want to read Billboard and I want to talk about how Jay-Z's freestyle is considered the number seventh most influential song this year. Who did it influence? It did absolutely nothing for me. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. It ain't do nothing for me. He talked about, people teeth flying out their mouth. Honey, he couldn't even get the words out his mouth half of, that freestyle. That was not a standout, legendary freestyle, especially when you have to look at this is a man who is supposed to be celebrating a 30-year. Okay, I had to make sure I cut my ringer off, y'all. This is a man that's supposed to be celebrating a 30-year anniversary to his first album. Y'all, and they said the album that changed hip hop. I said, changed it to what? I remember the 90s. It didn't do shit that turned the trajectory of hip hop. DMX was changing the trajectory of hip hop. Um, Eminem, Tupac, they were changing the trajectory of hip hop. You got to even give Nelly his props. He went diamond. Like, what the hell did this album do? Y'all just be, it's like whoever is in his marketing department just be making shit up and hoping we don't pay attention. I really think that they think that everybody has drank the Kool-Aid and a lot of us don't know any better. Thank you, Love De Niro. It barely went gold. You better say that. It that's why I said, how did it change hip hop? Reasonable Doubt is still to this day for what came out during that time in the 90s. It's one of the most, you know, I want to say borderline type albums. It's not great and it's not bad. It's cool, but it's not legendary. It didn't change the landscape of hip hop outside of Nicki giving him a quotable recently with Bigfoot. People don't even remember that line. I don't care if the bitch leg is broke. Get up on your good foot. You had to really be like a golden era of hip hop person to remember some of Jay-Z's lyrics from that album because it that album is not the album that really solidified him. To me, it was the next album, the one that dropped in 99. And even the one that dropped in 99, it didn't change the landscape of hip hop, but it definitely competed. It did. So I'm just confused. Like y'all just making up stories. Like none of us was there then. Like he act like it was only 17 people that was alive in the 90s and only 5 of them made it to this generation. Like, sir, a lot of us were there. We remember. Said then he wanted to play with the fear of God clothing. So yeah, I want to say Jay-Z's career really didn't pick up until 99 to 2000. And then, his association with him and Beyonce coming out as a couple in '03 really helped to put him, in that space where he became a household name in pop culture because of the relationship. So if I go back to that first album, child, that first album ain't do shit for me. You know what I remember more than anything from the 90s from Rockefeller Records? Watching my life go down, watching my life go down. I remember that more than I remember most of what was on that Reasonable Doubt album. Like stop making up stuff. Stop sitting up here playing in that man kinky wig. Cause I don't care what none of y'all say, damn it. That hairline was not the same when she was trimming those edges. One thing for certain, and two things are for sure. Dreads, um, afro, braids, I don't care what you get. Your hairline does not transform to the point to where the follicles are in different places. Okay. It doesn't work that way. So you mean to tell me Sacred worked so good that it brought him some thick edges? He had the same density across his entire hairline. See, y'all was talking about he ain't got not a piece of gray hair in his head. Go back and look at those damn edges. How the hell do you have the exact same density around your entire hairline? Right, said your hairline doesn't change across styles. No, it does not. No, it does not. He got that wig on from what was that movie with Sam L. Jackson and Bernie Mac and them was they was in that group performing on tour and he had that braid wig. Jay-Z had that Sam L. Jackson wig on. Like, and then you sit up here, tell myself, I got that Cherokee in my family. Child, don't you dare insult nothing from the Cherokee Nation. Todd, you got that Cherokee in your family. You got the buffaloes that was on the prairie in your family. I don't know about no damn Cherokee. Said he sounds so goofy. Listen, they trying to sell this happy family stuff because I'm telling you, if y'all don't buy it, y'all ain't gonna buy nothing else. And that's the bigger picture. Thank you, Bryce. Says still dealing with this. Blessings, Angel, and chat. Well, I'm gonna put some prayers up for you. Come on now, let me. There we go. I'm gonna definitely put some prayers up for you, Bryce. You said the Daz Road don't know you. The child never met him. So he got the devil and Cain in his family. Woo! Y'all, I'm telling you, go back and look at that hairline. I know I ain't crazy. That hairline literally is the same density all the way across. Like even when you buy a wig, they're supposed to pluck the edges of the wig so that it lays more natural to the nape and it looks like your actual natural hairline because the hairline is usually thinner when you get closer to the edge than it is back here. Say he can trace his heritage, but he can't take a DNA test. Is crazy. If he traces his heritage, you might end up down to the damn dog shelters. So I don't know about him tracing his damn heritage. But I tell you this one thing for certain, and two things are for sure. You better stop using your wife to do voiceovers, knowing good and damn well she should be on smooth jazz radio helping people sleep at night. That whole entire voiceover was so dry and so boring. I literally was like, just not listening to her. I said, maybe this ain't all bad. Maybe I need to listen to her when I go to sleep. Because I mean, I would definitely sleep very, very well because her voice is so monotone and dry. And like, child, I'm starting to see why they forced you to sing and dance because what else were you gonna do? You almost burnt up the whole kitchen with fries. Your mama invites you over to cook. You make the ice. You make the ice water, and then we hear this commentary, and you trying to tell us that first it was a tribute. You know, Jay wanted to rock an afro because they couldn't even keep their lives straight. Jay wanted to rock an afro in tribute to his father. Then he wanted to do natural hair in tribute to Blue. And then it took 4, 5, 6, 7 days. Don't nobody know how many days they worked on his hair. One person worked 4, the other one worked 5, the other one worked 7. And on the 8th day, they all rested so they could figure out what the story was going to be when they dropped this documentary. I said, I ain't never seen nothing like this. Not a one of y'all told the same amount of days in this documentary, but you still put this out. You mean to tell me this went through editing? This went through editing, and you let this make it through editing with three, 3 to 4 different time frames for how long it took y'all to take down his hair. And then you want to tell us how moisturized and conditioned his hair was and how healthy his hair was. And he's an ambassador for sacred. But then we see him on that stage looking like a dry ass dehydrated tumbleweed. Y'all really want us to believe that y'all didn't go read those comments on the internet, go and come up with this idea, put it together on the back end because you just could not take people telling you that you had a wig on, and then you put it out with promo from you doing the freestyle and mash this all together. And we were supposed to think it was all on the same timeline, that you really did all of this before he got on that stage looking like a burnt match. Y'all, they really think we stupid. It's it's comical and it's also like it's offensive at the same time because it's like, damn, y'all really, really don't think that much of us. You said Jay got the finest grade of human hair, afro, kinky K tips. I ain't fool. Not the kinky K tips. Not the kinky K-tip. Oh, you said the devil anointed his hairline. Lord have mercy. Yeah, Nikki really messed him up with that one. Baby, that Nikki got that whole household couldn't go to sleep trying to configure how they gonna tell us about this hair. So their hair will help base cell hair care, probably the opposite. Listen, there are no men that are going to see him letting her play in his hair, talking about he got Cherokee in his family that want to put that in their hair. No man is going to see that and say, I want to be laid up with my girl, talking about I got Cherokee in my family. Like that, what? I mean, come on now. Yes, baby, the breakdown took me. I'm glad you said that. For those of y'all that don't know, a braid down is a term that they use when you get your wig done. So when she said this man had a braid down, I said she done told the truth and lied at the same time. Lord have mercy. Mama Tina said that they wanted to put you in one of them classes. She said that the teachers all came to the same consensus. And I'm starting to believe that, because why would you tell us that he was getting his braid down? You get a braid down when you get a unit or a sew in. Now, I haven't had a sew in 50 million years, but I remember the terminology. Men don't get a braid down. Men get their hair braided. Now, if a man get a braid down, I would expect that to be like a Jeffree Star, Saucy Santana, because they get a braid down to get their unit. That's what braid downs are for. They're for you to get a unit. They're for you to get sew in, or for you to get crochet hair. You said Mama Tina putting a spell on him, reverse Uno card. Yes, for a wig installation. I said, this girl, she just lied and told the truth in the same sentence. Why would you tell us your husband getting a braid down? A braid down mean that your husband getting a unit. So Nikki was accurate when she said, take that lace front off. Why, why you tell us your husband was getting prepped to get a unit? Said whoever does her wig definitely mastered their skills with Jay. Said I just came back. Said what's up with the blowout trim and then the washing? Right, right. First of all, who's going to go through who's going to blow dry and trim hair that is fragile in the first place? Because you got to think about, this is a, you're, it's not even a twist out. You actually de-dreaded the hair, so you got a lot of hair loss, and then you got hair that could be fragile. That hair needs deep conditioning, a protein treatment, hot oil treatment. Like there's all types of hair treatments that need to be done before you even think to blow dry that hair and put added stress on that hair. It needs to be fortified first. And then after you're done, you're going to blow dry it and trim the ends before you do what? Your braid down. They listen, somebody thought that we don't go get our hair done. That's what this was. Somebody thought that we don't have the culture that has salons that open at 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. Hey, that's cute. I like that. It's fortified on a lace grid, Angel. Child, since somebody over there knows the Carters probably told Nikki he balding. I don't think he's balding. Um, I don't think he's balding. I just don't believe that after doing such a procedure on hair, like taking down locks, that you're going to do that type of process. That's backward, that you would take down the locks and then you would, put added stress blow drying and combing and brushing on fragile hair, like you would need to deep condition the hair to continue to get the hair to loosen up and help you to detangle it properly so that you don't break and snap and pop out all that hair. Hello, hello, hello. Sage, I had locks and the amount of hair loss taking them down. Also, my hairline was receding bad. So how is his hair even all around? Listen, I'm trying to figure it out. I'm trying to figure it out. It don't look right to me. I don't remember ever in the history of life somebody's edges getting 6 times thicker after they take down, their locks, and that a hairstylist would be as irresponsible as to pull and blow dry and do all this, wrangling on this hair instead of actually doing the deep conditioners and taking your time to detangle. Like you need to detangle and give the hair some treatments first before you get to doing all that pulling. Every time you comb, it's snapping and popping. And if you pay attention to the way she was combing his hair, you can tell that this is something that she totally doesn't do, because anybody that has ever detangled hair before, especially if you're talking about like 4C hair, you're definitely going to start at the end of the hair and work your way up. You're going from the tip to the root, because if you're up here the way she was with that brush looking like she was pouring the brush in hair, you're going to be breaking the hair out. So I knew that was something that she had no idea. Said you don't always have to cut them off. You can comb them out. Yeah. But it takes a certain process to comb them out, and it's a lot of hair loss, because your natural hair, when it's not in locks, you're losing up to what, 100 strands a day just from natural shedding. So you got to think about all the hair that would shed in your scalp that can't shed due to the locks. And then you are, combing these locks out, and you got to break some of that hair, unfortunately, to comb it out. So the hair is going to be thinner. It's going to be fragile. It needs a couple of weeks really to get back healthy after such a traumatic process, because it's been resting all that time in locks. Said, depending on how your locks are started, you can comb them out. Interlock locks have to be cut off. They don't have to be cut off. It's just gonna take you a very long time to do it. Because I got a couple of friends that have them, and it's a very long process. But first thing first, you're going to properly condition that hair to help you with the process. And I would put the conditioner in the hair first, let it sit for a minute, and then once it's completely saturated, then I would go back and start the process, because it's going to take all your life 5 years, especially if your hair is long, and then if it's thick, and we're talking about wicks. So even though wicks, can completely lock, I'm a firm believer that he had kinky hair interlocked into his locks. So for those that don't know, you can have weave in your dreadlocks, whether you have a lace front or not. And what they do is they add the hair into the locks and they lock it around it to extend your locks and make them fuller. So I believe he had faux wicks, because usually wicks are free forming, nobody has perfect parts in between wigs. It's impossible, because anybody with locks, when you first get your locks done, they could part them when you first get them done. But the hair, the way it grows, and you get it relocked, they're going to have to break some hair to part it and retwist it to get it to be parted like that. So for him to have locks that have perfect parts, like, parting the scalp to do braids, to me that feels like it was interlocked and he had extensions. He said, shoot, I don't have perfect parts either. All the new growth is crazy. Because and we've never really seen him with actual how, y'all think about this. We saw him with having new growth at the bottom, right? And then next thing you know, he had perfect parts with wicks, and the wicks were flat. Like, sir, come on now. Come on now. He said, mine been locked for 8 years too, and he's full of crap. Okay. Said he had the Basquiat wig unit. I wonder how Basquiat feels because I don't believe that if he was alive, that him and Jay-Z have energy that would have aligned with each other. I don't think they would have really meshed well. So you could tell he was wearing the wig. He thinks that we are just as dumb as Jolene, allegedly. Said Amir needs to find that comb. That was you. I didn't mean to snort. Wait a minute. So down here in Florida, that's what they do. Said Jay would have gotten rid of him so that he could be him. Said they tried y'all. Nikki called them out. We ain't buying what they selling. Said if I want lock advice, I ask Offset or Quavo. I mean, and pay attention to their hair, especially like Offset. He has 4C hair. We still, even though he has the smaller locks, his locks don't look as uniform as Jay-Z's wigs look. They're always neat though. Let's give him his credit. They're always neat. But it's like Jay's parts were like your mama did your hair for picture day or for Sunday perfect. Y'all know how serious getting parts correct in the black community are. Y'all, let me go get my charger and we're about to go ahead and get started. Yeah, I thought I had my charger over here with me because I do not want my phone to die while I'm busy. Then we can go ahead and get started. All right, we got 259 in here. Not bad, not bad, not bad. Let's see which one we're going to do first. Okay, I'm going to do Daz Dillinger first. Daz stated that it has been 30 years since The Chronic was released, and he still hasn't been paid his royalties for The Chronic. Now, The Chronic was, now that was an album that could be considered historic. Okay. Snoop really made an impact with that album, and like sipping on gin and juice was everywhere. Okay. So when you look at, Doggy Style to The Chronic, like him and Dre, like that time was epic between him and Dre. Like from sipping on gin and juice to Steel. Like you heard those everywhere. So just to think he was a part of that and he still didn't get his money, that's crazy. Would you say sweet how sweet charity is stop and let you ride? I lost my train of thought. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I couldn't stop it with the Amazon Prime. I had to get something. So I didn't even realize when I got this that this was a presidential deck. I literally got it because it was on sale on Amazon Prime, but got a backup presidential deck. Oh my gosh. And let's see what Daz is talking about. Why hasn't Daz gotten paid? Okay, so King of Swords. According to the cards, allegedly child for entertainment purposes, it looks like Daz is telling the truth. And he's done a lot of collaborations, and he's pretty much a part of the infrastructure of that sound. So, first card out, King of Swords, looks like he's telling the truth. Page of Swords and the Lovers. So, he's really keeping his eyes on whoever is running things and collaborating right now. Uh, Four of Swords. He's waiting for something to be laid to rest. Thank you, Just Janelle. Yeah, he's waiting for something to be laid to rest. So either it's like a contract or it's going to have something to do with royalties. So for those of you that don't know, once you get to a certain year mark, you can go and apply for your royalties and get them in its full totality. But you have to apply for it before the deadline or, before the other party who had ownership reapplies. So he may be waiting for that deadline, and then his some are 20 years, some can be up to 35 years. It depends on how they wrote up the contract. 20 years is usually standard. So he may be waiting for something like that. Uh-oh. So you got Five of Cups here with the Three of Swords at the bottom of the deck. It talks about heartbreak, humiliation, and regret. And that's an interesting card. So tell me about the humiliation and regret. What's going to come out of that? And expect Daz to start having more conversations about, studio life and what was going on with that record label at that time, because it's going to be very, very, very important. Because remember, the Keefe D trial got pushed back to this summer. So everybody's going to want to know what happened over there at Death Row Records, because a lot of that was happening right in the midst of Daz Dillinger and Corrupt, because they were in the middle of everybody while all of these things were unfolding. Yeah, says, see, I doing dirt to people comes back. Yeah, it does. So you got Three of Cups here, which talks about, there's going to be a lot of communication, a lot of conversation in the near future about Death Row Records and what happened during the year of 1996. Get ready. Also, um, we're going to find out a lot more about why the company feels like it's up in the air. So somebody's taking a juggle or a gamble. Right now, the company is under Snoop, and it still feels like it's a toss up. Like things are still not running smoothly. It's like 50-50. You win some, you lose some. Sometimes you might get something, sometimes you might not, but it doesn't feel like everybody feels like they're getting what they're owed, what they deserve for their work. That's how this feels. Allegedly. So you got the King of Pentacles and Death. So this is saying, as far as who was the breadwinner out of the artists at that time, by a landslide during that time, it would have been Tupac. So if you think about postmortem, excuse me, his album sales, King of Pentacles, Tupac is still making a lot of money after death, ever since the past. So it's like, it's still money owed to him on a lot of stuff from a very long time ago. Yep. He went through a lot while collaborating with them. The Wounded Warrior. Expect him to tell some very interesting stories. Balance through a new beginning. So they're trying to rebuild Death Row. It doesn't have the same vibe because the Wounded Warrior is like they're struggling, but it's like Snoop is like, I may not be able to get it off this way, but I'm gonna get it back popping. This was may not win the battle, but you win the war when it comes to collaboration. So for him, it's like he's not even worried about the label, so to speak, because it's like I made my money. I was a part of the era that actually counted. So he feels like when it's all said and done, whatever he didn't get in the beginning, he gonna get in the back end for his collaborations, which is gonna give him balance through a new beginning. So it definitely looks like he's waiting for an extended period of time to come to an end, and then he can finally get what he deserves for all of his contributions. Yep, this will be his ships coming in, opportunities coming in, but it's attached. We know Six of Cups represents the past, and this could solely be him talking about money from music in the past, but I feel like the past is going to play a very, very pivotal role in how things are going to move forward. And this is how he's going to also get some opportunities. Now, when you see this elephant that represents, an elected party, and he's waiting for this elected party to look off into something. And I feel like whatever this is may have something to do with this Keefe D case. So, yes, Republican. I feel like this whatever's happening with this Keefe D case, he knows is going to put him in a situation where it's going to release everything that he needs anyway. Now, hold on to that because it's like, how does he know that? Why is that a thing? Why does that open up doors? You got the Ten of Wands here. So this talks about he faced a lot of burdens when it came to working for this company, burdens that he didn't think he was going to be able to get out of. But it's like literally something's about to unlock his opportunities attached to the past. And it could very much so be whenever this time period comes to an end. But I think it's bigger than that. And Daz is playing for the long game. He's like, I've been patient this long. I'm gonna play the long game. Yeah, the hermit. He don't really mess with nobody. He stay out the way. And it feel like he been out the way for a long time. Six of Cups. You said the artwork on these is tickling me. Child, they are funny. Knight of Wands. So Knight of Wands, Page of Pentacles. So he's also talking about how things went at the job. Here today, gone tomorrow, and a lot of things when it came to their working, how things move, were also affected by people's relationships, situationships. Remember, at one point in time, Michelle A. ran the label because she was, attached to Suge Knight. That's also his, child's mother. Um, you had Foxy Brown that was there a lot. And then Foxy ended up being in Vegas the night that Tupac, was pow pow. And she was on a date with another man while she was supposed to be engaged to Corrupt. So y'all, this is a lot of mess. So that Knight of Wands is appropriate. It was a whole bunch of situationship. And he's saying that was affecting business as well, allegedly for entertainment purposes. But he's falling back in the cut and he's just watching and he's waiting. Something happened recently that's going to help him get his money, and he's got a lot invested. He's just waiting for his return. Five of Cups. Put something on his Five of Cups. Heartbreak and the Queen of Pentacles. So he's like, when Wifey ran it, remember I just said Michelle A ran it. He was totally unhappy with her running the business. Cards, I need y'all to sit still, please, and thank you. Okay, so Three of Cups talks about lots of parties and celebrations. Also, there's going to be a lot of talk about what was going on and what's happening with court. Remember, I told you court is going to be a major thing. He's waiting to see what comes out in this Keefe D trial because he knows a lot of things from the past are going to finally see the light of day. So if you can just imagine the gossip they had back then, and they didn't have social media. We had magazines and, you know, um, eventually you got MySpace and like Black Planet, but it was nothing like how everything is now, how everything is super interactive. They didn't have that. So it's a lot of stories that are going to come out due to this court case. And he knows that this it feels like he knows that this Tupac homicide investigation is what's going to really, really open things up because Tupac he was a Gemini, right? So here's the Gemini right here. Ten of Pentacles falls on the table right up under the Gemini. So he was supposed to never have to work again just off of the work that he did off of Tupac's album. So they owe him far more than they're ever going to pay him. Um, And just think about whoever owns the masters right now at this moment for all that work. They're about to get a surge in income because when this case goes to trial, a lot of people who weren't around in that generation, the younger generation, they're going to go back and they're going to start streaming all of that music. They're going to want to go back and, look at all the nostalgia from that time. And it's going to be very interesting to find out the dynamic between Snoop and Tupac because, like, I see Tupac on the table, the Gemini, but it's like we're going to find out about their actual relationship, not the relationship for the public, but the actual relationship they have behind the scenes. And I feel like that's going to be very, very juicy. Yep, lots of secrets people worried about. Five of Pentacles. So y'all, it's like they're collaborating to keep from handing over these masters because somebody's going to lose everything once the right people start getting paid. Page of Wands. So something's going to open up for things to go in a different direction, and it's literally attached to the past, information coming out from the past. Nine of Pentacles falling under the Ten of Pentacles, which is the independent. So this talks about people struggling to, reestablish themselves. and being left out in the cold, having to work independently because things got too complicated working with the label. Um, and I do remember seeing DJ Quick. DJ Quick was complaining, I believe, last year about the royalty check that he got because he said that they were purposely underpaying him. And if I'm not mistaken, if I'm remembering this properly, he took his check and he lit it up on the barbecue grill because he said it was an insult compared to what he was owed. And I'm just like, damn, he just set the check on fire on live. Let me see how many zeros was on that. You know, if you really upset, you can just give it to me and I will spend all of the damn sorrow away for you. But he was standing on business and he burnt that check up because he said that what he was given was far beneath what he was owed for his royalties. So there's been a lot of people kicking up dust over there for royalties that they have not received yet, allegedly for entertainment purposes only. So it doesn't feel like Daz is the only one that feels this way. It feels like everybody else may be upset, but they're just not speaking about it. But it will be a wish fulfillment for them to, fall back and wait to see how everything happens because something's going to happen that's going to release everybody's money. And look at this, a cycle came to an end by a heavy betrayal that somebody can't come back from. So the energy over at death row will never be the same. And that usually happens when you change management, the vibe changes, everything changes. And you're taking an artist and having the artist run the label, and that doesn't always work out because a lot of times artists are not always the best businessmen or businesswomen. So this is going to be interesting to see how this plays out, but it looks like this Keefe D trial is going to be very, very pivotal, and there's a time limit coming sometime soon where everybody could mess around and get their masters. Said he took the pic first and uploaded it to the bank. I mean, he might have had. I mean, it's just the symbology of it was like you really on live burning a check. Like, okay. And you got to hear him though. He was really popping it. He was going off. He was upset. So it's just like, Lord have mercy, what y'all doing over here? Come on, Pen. So let's get Daz out the way. Looks like Daz is telling the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, allegedly. All righty. Let's go to Glow and Megan. Was the diss in Glow's new song with Pooh Shiesty about Megan? The internet seems to think so. This song was done a while ago when Pooh Shiesty first got out. Damn, it wasn't even that long ago. Now that I think about it, it's just crazy how that turnaround came. He went right back. Just wow. But either way, the internet believes that Glow is taking, all types of, licks out on Megan. And we know these two haven't been getting along for a while. So let me find the deck. And let's see. Said that this was a key reading the lyrics. Uh-oh, wait a minute. We ain't using that deck. That's the wrong one. Hold on. And just to think, all of this is happening while Nikki is being quiet. I told y'all when Nikki is quiet, all hell was gonna break loose. They need Nikki to go off and cuss people out. The whole world is upside down the moment she decided to be quiet. And it just looks like a bad episode of High School Musical because nobody knows where the X is that they're supposed to stand on the stage. Everybody looks lost. Everybody looks confused. Folks are all over the place. Said it was cool before that pic with Joanne. Said Nikki announced her documentary. So let's see what the energy is between Glow and Megan, and let's see if these two are actually going to battle each other and keep it hip hop. Because I'm tired of people in hip hop going to court every time they feel some type of way. I thought hip hop whole point was to get in the booth. People want to get in the court before they get in the booth. So are these two going to go back and forth in the booth? Because I mean, I'm just asking for me. Okay, so you got the hermit here. So these two definitely aren't talking to each other. Hermit mode literally is like somebody ghosting somebody, not talking to them at all. And then here it is, message coming through. So tell me about the message coming through. Wait a minute, I almost got like an accordion. Justice, Ten of Cups. So this is about to get interesting because you got, Justice and Ten of Cups. And this talks about balancing things out for either the label or the family. So, child, if GloRilla jump in and diss Megan, I am going to fall out. Okay? If GloRilla come back and diss Megan, y'all come check on me because that's my sister. I could talk about her, but you can't. Energy is screaming real loud across the table right now. And let's be honest, GloRilla actually got a decent flow. So I will be done. Like she already had a stud twerking, which was not on my bingo card for any of the years, not just 2026. It's like, what are we doing? We got studs twerking, we got studs and bust down wigs. It is a lot happening, but I mean, the song was still creative. I don't like, that she had to come out, dissing her sister to get, her notoriety up. But you open the door and she found her way the rest of the way in. Said GloRilla more listenable than Glow to me. Well, I'm telling you, this look like, you say the wrong thing and I'ma jump in. Like I might talk shit about my sister, but I'ma drag the hell out of you. And if the both of them got together on the same song, the dragger, I'm really gonna faint. So you got the Seven of Cups here, and it's like talking about considering your options on what to do. And it's like, y'all, this can get down and dirty if these two actually really, really go back and forth because Night of Wands is a lot of grown folks' personal business, bedroom business, so to speak. And these two were, they were cool. So it's no telling what type of conversations were exchanged, what type of tea was told between the both of them, talking as friends. And this is why a lot of females don't like having, you know, um, large groups of female friends because you always got to worry about who gonna get in their feelings and then go and all across America and tell it on the mountain because they felt some type of way that week. Said, don't forget bro could work with Tori. Well, I mean, bro already did, allegedly, which I'm still cracking up that Tori pulled that off from where he is. Said I'm gonna be Team Glow. I don't know who Bigfoot thinks she is. Oh, show me Glow. You got the Empress and you got the Ten of Swords. So what this is telling me is we can, at this point, we're gonna find out what the nucleus of them falling out actually is. Because you definitely got a betrayal here that somebody can't come back from. But when you got the Empress follow, coming out to kick it off, the Empress talks about what brought this into fruition, what gave birth to this problem and caused this to occur. So we're going to find out what actually caused these two to fall out. And I saw in the past that it could have something to do with a man and jealousy over a man's, somebody messing with somebody man or somebody flirting with somebody man or somebody jealous of the child. Look, it's stupid. Okay. It is stupid. I feel like somebody got in their feelings somehow over a man. So we know why she mad. She mad her opener outsold her. Well, y'all, let's call it a thing, right? Um, why is it nobody wants to give credit where credit is due and admit that without Glow on that tour, it would have not done so hot? Think about how Megan would have done with that arena tour without Glow as her opener. Because Glow really bonded with the crowd, and the crowd began to love Glow pretty much from what I could see more than Megan. Like she became the star of the show. So how would that tour have been if Megan would have went out and tried to do a one woman show? Because we got to think about all the hits that Megan has that she can't perform because they belong to Carl Crawford, and she got to get permission from him to perform certain music, allegedly for you know um, information purposes only, allegedly, allegedly, allegedly. So it's just. I mean, I see the trade off because Glow got next to Meg and got the hot girl makeover. She became from tomboy to zhuzhing it up sexy. And Meg, you got somebody to help you keep that tour going so that they didn't start shutting down your tour because I personally don't believe that Megan would have sold that tour by herself. I think they worked together well, and she needed somebody to open for her because I mean, baby, you gave away tickets, you gave away, jobs for seat fillers. Y'all were very, very, you know, um, here's the thing. Now that I think about it, you allow Lotto to come and do a remix and film a video on your tour, and you didn't even film a music video on your own tour, Megan. I don't understand that. Like nobody should have filmed a video on that tour before you. It was your tour. You should have been getting footage and all types of things for behind the scenes, for content creation. Like I don't feel like she really maximized it. Like even Glow did a music video while on tour, dancing on the tour bus and everything. Like everybody did more with the opportunity, in my opinion, than she did. I don't feel like she maximized it. So you got the sun here, which talks about clarity, someone being exposed. And I know it's exposure because you got the Knight of Wands here. I want to see if Megan's going to engage with Glow because if she engaged with Glow, this could be a real interesting battle. This could be a very interesting battle. this actually would be like, what it is that is closer to the spirit of what Akbar is trying to do. If, Megan is not going to play that, I'm too big for this. I'm above this. Because really, this would be the great kickoff for Megan to get people prepared for that next album because that last song she put out, child, it didn't chart on the top 100s. The song she put out with Clay, I know she don't want to go out and perform that because now what you gonna twerk and cry? Like you need something else to refresh your catalog at this point. So I think the diss a battle for her would actually be something that would be a bright spot because it would, bring the spirit of competition. And the spirit of competition always makes money. So Page of Swords. So it feels like Meg is, she's working and she's watching. Like, she caught that. She listened. She saw that. Oh, okay, what y'all say? She was talking about me. Let me go listen. Four of Cups. So this talks about, feeling rejected over an opportunity or someone rejecting you and taking another opportunity. Violence. Oh my God. Did you just say that T Ferris tripped over his stomach to run and show her? No, no, no. No. So you got anxiety here because it looks like whatever it is that Glow is saying is going to be the truth. And this actually can make Glow a lot of money if Megan is to engage. So, okay. So it looks like Megan will actually be kind of cautious when it comes to engaging in battle with Glow, or she should be, because if Glow really get to cutting off into her, throwing some low blows, it feel like they would be true. Sounds like a Leo. And it would be things that we don't know about yet. The moon. Now, the line that I do believe that made it stick for me like grits is when she called whoever she was talking about uh, a person that was playing the victim. I said, ooh, seven of wands. So Glow says she gonna continue to stand up for herself. And when you got this emperor energy, it's like I don't care who's behind you. I'm still gonna come for your head. So this is going to be interesting because this feels like there can be a ceasefire, like somebody who's in charge can be like, okay, well, we've had enough. Like maybe we need to sit down. We need to work on this, and it's like work on what? I said what I said. So yeah, Glow is like, look, I ain't even worried about you. I'm not thinking about you. I'm getting to the money. Queen of Pentacles. Yeah, Glow got her mind on getting her money up and getting married. I think she believes her and what's his name, Brandon, and getting married. At least that's where it feels like her mind is at. Like I'm all about my bag, getting my money up, and seeing herself getting married. Yeah, this feel like a ceasefire. Like somebody gonna be like, look, wait a minute now. Let's play nicely. Yeah, which child, this better not be Jay-Z. It better not be, because I'm gonna tell you something. This gives me ether all over again if it is, because remember, the executives pulled them together and made them shake hands and was like, Nas, please quit going belts the ass. He can't take no more. And then they, okay, 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 I won't diss him no more because somebody in the damn front office got us together and now we can't go there. You say, so man, I don't know what's going on with the chat lately, y'all. I believe you were trying to send that to me earlier. Y'all, they are somehow, some way. Some of the comments are out of sync, so they come in late. I don't know what's happening, but I've been noticing that the last week or so. You said, damn all that, they better launch something. So here we go. Eight of Cups and Nine of Cups. Glow is comfortable with not dealing with Megan. It was like it was a wish fulfillment for me to walk away from you. So I don't see Glow wanting to deal with her again. And she may tell us that, it could have been somebody behind the scenes that already tried this to get them to work this out and be cool in the past. And that part may be past energy, but I do see interference of some kind where they were trying to, somebody's going to try to, or they already tried to get these two to kind of squash the beat. But I don't see that anymore for Glow. Glow like I'm on what you on. I come outside, I'm on the porch, and I'm telling the truth. And I'm gonna take the truth and turn it into an opportunity and turn it into a bag. And I'm gonna whoop your ass every time I get in the booth if you want it with me. And I'm gonna keep getting money and keep getting opportunities while I do it. So she like, I ain't got to go back and forth with you and dish you in social media. I could drag you in the booth and get a bag for it. Honey, I ain't mad at that. I ain't mad at that at all. Because I mean, if you're a rapper, it is what it is. Seven of Swords. So it feels like what really kicked this off is somebody felt like somebody was being sneaky. Judgment. This also lets me know that because the person was being sneaky, it's like closing off the energy. And then somebody feels like someone got exposed for being sneaky because the sun is on the table. That you can't seem to keep friends. What's her name? Jayla's still over there windmilling for dear life. King of Pentacles and the Magician. So I still get the energy of something happened between them that got something to do with a man. Said that Glow is more likable and ain't tied to consistent scandal. She'll definitely be better off not messing with her for real. Said Glow posted Tori's song on her story. I remember that. I believe she may have posted something with Nikki too, if I ain't mistaken. Said the Stallion tried to sleep with someone. We gotta say allegedly. Said wasn't Meg the one who stole her outfits? Then Glow did the same. I never heard anything. First of all, they don't even wear the same size clothes. What the hell they still? what what type of difference, child? What could Megan fit that Glow could wear and vice versa? That's got to be spandex. That's got to be one of them S&M outfits made out of belts or something. Like, what the hell could both of them wear that they both could fit? Glow is Slim Goody. Well, Megan trying to be slim this week. But Megan was eating biscuits back then. She was thick. She said, now, Adrian, she wasn't going to tell the truth that her husband did it for another woman. Said, the wrestling clothes stretch. You said the wrestling outfit. Said she stole EJ the stylist. Well, child, EJ ain't got Glow out here looking like a majorette. So something is working better for Glow than it is for Megan because Megan looked like she was about to go out there with the damn majorettes and the flag girls and do her mark time. We're going out here to dance with the Stingettes. First of all, why has Megan not had a video with a marching band? Wasn't she supposed to be a dancer in college for the band? Like, wasn't that something she was doing, like cheerleading, and she was on the dance team? It just seemed like that would fit her brand. You said Glow budget is bigger. At least Glow doesn't owe anyone. Not that we know of. How you said not a clover? Sounds like her. EJ probably told Glow what the horse said about her. Possibly. It's possibly. I mean, she listen. She dressed like she was supposed to go out there and dance with the dance team. I would have I would have expected her to do something like that. Like Chloe Bailey went out and she even performed, you know, at like a college halftime show. It's like that to me fits Megan's brand. Well, hey, who knows? The body song would have been good, a good one for her, even if it's salvaged. Said I think that BET move that Jay was on with Kendrick blew up in his face. YouTube no longer reports to Billboard, and now the horse has to find another way to win. Hmm, interesting. Said she listens, lol, because EJ worked with Tamar and he used to have her looking good. That's what I'm saying. It's like it made I feel like that's the look that she wanted. So as a stylist, he accommodated her. That's what that feels like. So you had Knight of Swords, Two of Cups, Page of Swords, Ten of Wands. So this is where I got to say glow, you know, play fair, not because of Megan, because you don't want this energy to come back and slap you in the face. So this right here with the Knight of Swords and the Two of Cups is like messages coming back and forth about, you know, soulmates, relationships, Page of Swords, things that can be seen. So it's like don't gloat and rub it in this girl's face that you got a man and we gonna be together forever. Cause child, you would get out here talking about what that man will never do, and he start nevering like a motherfucker, embarrassing you and doing all types of stuff, and y'all mess around and might not end up being together. So it's like this is the only part that I don't agree with. Like, don't put too much on that trying to throw it in her face that, oh, we together, we locked in, we this, we that. Because child, this man just talked about how you get on his nerves before you go to sleep. And he got this whole, you know, I mean, we together, but type energy. That you don't want that to turn around and end up being a complication for you later. So Four of Cups, Four of Cups, Four of Cups, Three of Pentacles. So it feels like what really happened between the two of them is Glow is the one that walked away, not Megan. It's like she decided she no longer wanted to collaborate with her, no longer wanted to have a relationship with her as a friend. And yeah, I'm telling you, it's a man's energy here. Somebody felt some type of way over a man. It just keeps coming out between the both of them. Yeah, a betrayal over love and abundance. Oh Lord, have mercy. So I think EJ told Glow about that night, and ever since he became her stylist, I just had that feeling. Just assuming though. Said I've learned my lesson. A man don't gotta worry about me bragging about him publicly. Made me take back everything I felt and said last time. I mean, I'm not saying that, you know, you're not supposed to be happy in your relationship, you big up the person you with, because I mean, hey, you got a good one, you got a good one. But the thing is, it's like this is the only thing that I see that could actually kind of like end up blowing up in Glow's face if she tried to rub that in Megan's face, because you don't you don't know what's about to happen with this relationship. Just enjoy your relationship. Keep your relationship private. Keep folks out of your business. You will enjoy your relationship a lot more. People get too wrapped up in trying to prove to outsiders that their relationship works. And it's usually the outsiders that get inside your business and mess up your whole damn household and your relationship. The less you tell people, the more comfortable your household will be. So Seven of Wands and the Tower. So here it is. Glow is, she's standing her ground, and relationship destroyed. And she's like, I'll be your tower. Child, look, we know Glow is the Leo. So whatever it is that Glow got on Megan, she's ready to drag and expose. She just waiting on Megan to see how she gonna pop out. This is literally that I'm on what you on. If we gonna go there, let's go. Said, OMG, is that why Jay bought 50% of Fenty Beauty? He's planning on getting Megan a deal to force Glow out of that deal. Um, that's interesting. You know what? You just made me think, because I forgot that Glow was over there as an ambassador for Fenty Beauty. So you just jogged my mind with that. Um, I think more so than anything, in my opinion, I believe that what he's trying to do is break down Rihanna while building up his wife. Because really, his wife's biggest competitor would be Fenty Beauty, but at the same time, he needs to keep Rihanna at arm's length to keep control over her, to make sure she don't say the wrong thing. He knows he got more control over Jolene, but Rihanna's a live wire. He ain't gonna handle her the same way. So it's better to deconstruct her and transfer everything to the one that he knows that he has the upper hand with, in my opinion. But that's an interesting one right there. Said I forgot about that until I saw those cards. So yeah, Four of Wands. Yeah, y'all. She's looking at Glow is looking at her stability. She's looking at, her life, her home life. She could be dragging her for going broke. Y'all, this can get real ugly. It depends on how Megan engages Glow. If Megan don't say too much back, Glow will go on about her business. But if Megan engages Glow, let's just say we all gonna have to get a popcorn. One thing for certain about a fire sign, they might not jump off the porch immediately, but when they decide that they are ready to fight, you cannot stop a fire sign until they say enough is enough themselves. A fire sign will go above and beyond once you piss them off, to right or wrong. So if you got one that's quiet, that don't bother with you, let them be. Because when they finally get to the point that they get angry, it's gonna get ugly. So, you know, it's like Glow maybe, it feels like she's maturing, because it's like she's not really into the partying like she used to be. She's, she's changing a lot in her life right now, and she's focusing. So I give her that. The Queen of Wands, the Nine of Wands. Y'all, I don't think she really want to go there with Glow because it's like Glow is waiting to expose her. I mean, expose her, expose her. It's like if you come out here, if you really jump off the porch with me, the gloves are off. The Sun, King of Pentacles, and work. Something happened while they were working that nobody else knows about, and it looks like it also has to do with a man that could get exposed as well. Okay, we got sirens. Yeah, it looked like Glow definitely got some tea. And I could just imagine the Hierophant. Y'all, Glow want to get married. It feels like she's ready for family life. She's ready to get married. Um, and she looks at it's like she looks at Meg as a backstabber. Said that's why Barney kept it cute with Lotto. Lotto got her tea. You got the chariot here, which talks about, forward movement. Once she get going, ain't no stopping her. So if she really get to going on Megan, it's gonna be a marathon. And that makes sense because that's how Leos are. Once you get a Leo cooking, you might as well be, ready to fight. Because they ain't gonna stop until they feel like stopping. I'm not doing zodiacs, love. Yep, temperance, balance through a new beginning, the two of wands. So it feels like they fell out more than once, y'all. Somebody may have already got them to try to work it out and come back together, and it just didn't work. So I don't think this was like the first time they fell out. I think it was like the time that stuck. You said I'm a Leo, July 23rd, LOL, so I know. Oh, your birthday is the last day of Mercury retrograde. So y'all expect a lot to come out because Mercury retrograde starts what the 29th of this month and it goes to July 23rd. We're going to see some very, very interesting things in this whole next planetary alignment. Y'all already know I've been telling y'all that Mercury retrograde always works for Tauri. Every time there is a retrograde in Mercury, new information comes out. He gets a leg up. I've never seen it work like that for any other person, but Tauri always gets a leg up in Mercury retrograde. So there's something that's coming that's going to be very, very beneficial for him. And it's going to be something from the past that's going to come full circle. I like that name, Angel's Rest too. Said Jupiter and Leo too, wishing him luck. Yep, said and he's a Leo, so this is his Mercury retrograde. Yes. And this is a really, really good year for Leo's period. 2026 going into 2027 is going to be very, very productive for Leo. So if you're a Leo, make the most of this time. Say he may have been born during one. Makes sense because it always helps him. So Five of Wands, Two of Pentacles. Child, this looked like these two may have gotten to the point where they were possibly ready to fist fight, or at least Glow was, because she feels like Megan is, you know, so or two-faced it allegedly for entertainment purposes. So it's a lot that went on with them behind the scenes that just stayed quiet. And it feels like this is where Glow is at. Like I've been quiet this whole time. I've been chill this whole time. I ain't said nothing this whole time. But today I got time, cuz I'm making the choice. And I'm gonna get an opportunity out of it. I'm gonna get a bag out of it. So, Lord, I'm gonna drag you and I'm gonna get paid for it. So, Angel, you keep saying that meanwhile I'm being dragged by my invisible lace front. Come on, Leo, look. Well, baby, you gotta talk to your angels and give them permission to assist you to get you out of some of the stuff. Because I promise you, when I say dragged by the imaginary lace front, I feel like I got dragged by the imaginary beauty supply store, all of the damn wigs at the same time for the last few years. So it's like you'll see it'll finally like the energy is finally start dissipating. So here we go. She's at this point, it feel like Glow is invested. She just waiting for Leo. She's heavily invested. She's in and definitely there is gossip that got back to her, 3 of Cups. So it's almost to the point to where it's like she enjoyed going on tour and the opportunity that came along that helped the career working with Megan, but it's like now it's like I almost regret taking the opportunity. Damn. But she's like, I'm above this. I want to move on from the toxicity. But the fool talks about taking a leap of faith. So what caused her to take a leap of faith? Because it feel like she's just over it with Megan. She really did. Y'all, excuse me. It's a piece of hair that just keep messing with me. It feels like she was over it with Megan. She didn't want any more the negativity. But then there's something here. Knight of Cups, 6 of Pentacles. Yeah, I don't even think they would have actually worked together if someone in the front office didn't reach out and put the deal together. Like it feels like these two were manufactured friends. They put them together for an image for this project and she finally realized like, you know what? I was keeping it real with you, but you was keeping it real fake. That's what this feel like. King of Swords in reverse, Page of Cups. So King of Swords in reverse is like negative issues with legal issues. Also, someone, calling somebody a liar, rejecting to put up with someone's energy because she's saying that, it's something that Megan's not telling the truth on. And it's like at this point, like I already went through all I'm going to go through with you. And this is something that we can't come back from. So I don't see Glow wanting to ever have a friendship with Meg again. But there's a lot of secrets between, the both of them. And I get the energy that Glow would have never told these secrets, or she never had any plans on telling any secrets. But it's like you're not gonna keep poking the bear. You're not gonna keep messing with me. You're doing things that people can't see. So since you want to do things that people can't see, I'm gonna pop it out here in the front. I'm gonna come outside where everybody can see me and you meet me out here. So this is that, somebody, silently beefing with you, messages getting back about things being said allegedly, buttons being pushed and she tired of it. Was like, you want to go there, we can go there. Don't throw a rock and hide your hand. Come outside. So it feel like, Glow is like, look, I'm ready. I'm with it. So that's interesting. Damn, what a difference a day make from one year to the next. I want to see if Glow respond, because if Glow respond, that's when I mean not Glow. If when Meg responds, Glow is gonna go all in. She just waiting for Megan to match her energy from what I can see. So next up, did sexy red security Kyle set her up to be robbed? And here's the scenario. They're saying that I guess she was out for a performance, and the door to, I believe, her dressing room was left unlocked. Now, they're also saying that Sexy Red owes him lost wages. So it's assumed that he may have set this up because she hasn't paid him and he paid himself. Now, that's alleged and for entertainment purposes only. Rumor with no regard, no proof. Nobody knows that to be true, but that is an internet theory. So we're going to look into both sides of this and see how this is working and find out why everybody is accusing Sexy and not paying them, because it seems like that's the most synonymous thing with her name right now versus her actual music, which is kind of like, wow. Let's see. What am I going to use? I'm going to start off with some oracles. We're going to do the intuitive calf kipperish deck. Show me Sexy Red and her security guard Kyle. Show me Sexy Red and her security guard Kyle. Said I thought it was her label. It depends on what her contract is. I mean, they may have given her the money, given her the budget, and it was for her to budget and pay people. It just everybody has a different budget. They get in a different type of contract. So, we don't know the paperwork. So sometimes the label can take the advance and pay everybody. Other times they leave it to you to do something. So you got protection and commitment here. Now, remember, he's her bodyguard. So protection, which to me is like he was committed to protecting her, but we got to see what's the problem. What's the bottom line? Like, how did they get here? How did they get here? Entity attachment and child. So that can be very, very intriguing, because it's like there can be another side to Sexy where, she can cut up and possibly be childish. And he feels like, she's not handling things in a professional or adult way. Doesn't make this true, but this feels like this is the energy around him and how he feels. So you got the bliss card here and you got imprisonment. So what that is telling me with that is that this started off as a really good relationship, and then it felt like being trapped. So it didn't start off this way at all. So concerns and ascending. So yeah, this is like ascending is like, growing out of this opportunity, possibly wanting out of this opportunity. Show me the concerns. Work, labor, and efforts. Now, remember, the accusation is she owes him for lost wages, work, labor, and efforts, North Node. So he may have tried to handle this with her above the board, the professional way. And it just seems like she may not take things as serious as she should. And this is why not all artists need to conduct their own business. Sometimes as an artist, you just need to do what's best, which is, to go in the studio, record your music, um, use your creativity, because everybody is just not equipped for conducting business. And that's okay. You got to know your strength. He says girls need business managers. Yep, you got confusion, illusion, and karma. So there's a lot of confusion between the both of them. Karma, okay. What is the karma? Was the karma allegedly the robbery, or was that something that was staged or caused? Oh, wait a minute. Well, we definitely getting some law involved. Ice King. So yeah, these two had possibly been on shaky ground for a minute, but when you got protection and commitment, it just feels like he was dedicated to her. So he stayed because he's a loyal person, and his loyalty may have been like the gift and the curse in this situation. Allegedly, allegedly, allegedly. This feels like how his energy feels. Like I said, it's subjective, doesn't have to be true, but this feels like the energy around how he feels. So yeah, he's feeling like, hey, when you get karma and confusion and illusion, like she's really, how can I say this? This feels like she's really in that bag to where it's like, I can't believe that this happened, or I can't believe that you would do this. But how do you have people work for you and they're not getting paid? Folks got families they have to take care of. They got to eat too. They have bills they have to pay. They have a life to live as well. So you got to know that, when you don't feed your wolves, wolves find a way to feed themselves, allegedly. Not saying that this is what he did, but if this is what happened, I wouldn't be surprised. Single, sexy, and successful. Jezebel. Now, I want y'all to understand Jezebel, she always is known for, being a whore. But people have to remember that Jezebel was a spiteful businesswoman. Jezebel did shady business. She did bold contracts. She stole, people's property. She bore false witness on people. So you got to look at the bigger picture of who Jezebel was, and he sees her as a Jezebel now. Like he feel like he can't trust her. Like she's shady. He was loyal, she's shady. So in the distant future, it's like now he feels like he can see her clearly. He feels like she's not who, he thought she was, or who she portrays herself to be. She's got to be careful with this, because these are the type of things that, affect your career for the long haul, because the last person you want to play with is someone that has to, protect you, and your life is in their hand. Like security, out of all people, that's one of the most pivotal parts of your team when you're traveling, you're on the road, especially doing club dates and things like that, because it's dangerous out here. And that person is like the barrier between you being taken up out of here and making it home every night. So I would think that you would want to make sure they were squared away. That's my opinion. So you got hello and ascending. So it feels like the bouncer is to the point to where no matter where this relationship goes, he's over it. Yeah, that's one of the first people that need to get paid. You need security, good security. Because when people know that you don't have good security, child, you end up like Rick Ross over there in Canada getting beat up by Drake fans. Because ain't no way in the world nobody's supposed to get that close to Rick Ross and handle him the way that they did in that situation. But as a woman, being out here on the road, traveling, you definitely have to know that you can trust your bodyguard because that bodyguard got to protect you from, all hurt, harm, and danger. Y'all laughing. Y'all saw that video. Made me think. I said, sir, you was a CO? Child, the prisoners would have been taken over and just literally just on the wild if they knew that you couldn't take a punch allegedly. Hey, hey, hey. So this is the order, doctor, lawyer, and security. Child, you might want to put your lawyer before your doctor, then your security, and then your doctor, because you can pay your doctor in installments. If your security don't get the job done right, the doctor might not be able to help you if you get Swiss cheesed up. And at least if you got the lawyer on the retainer, the lawyer got you and the bouncer and can help get you out of the situation. Because I'm going to tell you what was a good lawyer situation that balanced out and everybody walked away no matter who talking crazy now. Ra Ali and Cardi, when she got one of these put right here on her forehead. Damn good lawyer. It was like, that was Nikki's security. And nothing else was said. So you got please help in poverty. And that's kind of sad because please help in poverty is like, listen, I got bills to pay. Like I'm going broke because I'm waiting on you to pay me. Say, yep, I just posted that picture for Pink Friday to remind you. Yep, animosity. So they're both at an impasse. Was like, I trusted you. They're both mad. Work, labor, efforts. Let's see, let's see, let's see. Mentally and emotionally unstable. Rituals. Now, ritual has been at the bottom of my deck 3 times. I wanted to see how many times it was gonna pop out. And for those of y'all that don't remember, go look this up. But I remember this vividly. I'll never forget it. Sexy had went live and she had some dreads wrapped around the strap of her purse. And the first thing I thought about was who the hell is she binding to her purse? Because your purse keeps money in your pocket. Whose locks did you take and tie them around your purse to tie their financial energy to your bag? So to see that mentally or emotionally unstable, and then you got ritual here, that's saying a whole lot. And see, people never think about, if you play in the spirit realm, what the backfire is going to be. A lot of times, the spirit realm can put you in situations where you can be mentally imbalanced because you're under spiritual attack when that energy comes back to you. She said it was his. I never forget it. I saw that and I'm like, girl, you out here letting folks know you doing bruja stuff? Like whose hair? What is this? And when did people get so comfortable in this generation showing all their spell work. Do these people know that if you are doing root work on somebody and you're exposing the root work, you're also exposing yourself to spiritual elements where you can pay tenfold because now somebody know what you're doing. They can rebuke you. They can, do work against you. And you can end up in a whole spiritual battle that you didn't expect to be in because you showed people things that they probably shouldn't have seen. So you got the Ice Queen, legal. Yeah, she's really, really upset. It's like she wants to get the law involved, unbothered. The bodyguard is like, I don't give a damn. I'm not really worried about it. She may have to go to the police, not because, she really wants to file the paperwork, but, when you're talking about jewelry, bags, clothes, things of that nature are coming up missing, um, you need a police report so that you can turn it over right. Thank you for the insurance. Without the police report, you can't get insurance for any of your losses. So you got family and soulmate. So it's like he saw her as family. And it's like this is why he's stuck in there so long with her. Like, like this is my people. It's like family. And this is why he was so loyal to her, because he saw her like family. Health concerns, interesting enough, in the distant future, health concern. So don't be surprised if they end up in court one way or the other. Yeah, Ice King, actual money. So he want his money. He don't give a damn what she talking about. Like, I don't know who stole your stuff allegedly, but you still gonna pay me. So yeah, this is, either way it goes, it's going to get investigated and there's going to be some officials involved because she has to, due to the insurance policy. Show me the relationship between the both of them from here on out. Pathway, real love. So I'm not going to say that that was like romantic love between the both of them, but it's like he really had love for her. Saw her as somebody that was like a family member. He's a top flight security of the world, Craig. Oh, you funny. Not with the whistle. Ooh, excuse me, y'all. My apologies. I've been up since the wee hours of the wee hours. The veil and the earth angel and health concerns once again. So it's like he really is just like I can really, I'm seeing you for who you really are. And it's like now that the veil is lifted, it's like I really had good intentions for you, but he definitely feels played. Like it was like everything was good until he realized that he was not going to be able to take care of what he needed to take care of. Intuitive care, twin flame. So twin flame doesn't necessarily mean romantic entanglement either, but it's like these two had definitely, they were tight, and it seems like she may have, pushed it a little bit with their relationship, because it's like, oh well, we cool, I can get at him when I get at him, I take care of him when I get it, or he'll get it when I give it to him, we good like that. But when it comes to money, this is the main reason why people don't hire friends and family or work for friends and family, because when things don't go right with the money, the relationship unfortunately goes out the window. So you got thoughts here and thief. So she definitely looks at him as a thief, allegedly. He look at her as a thief because he ain't been paid. So he feels like she changed up on him. Like the way she started off is not the way that she is now or the way she became. Okay, that's a lot. Let me break that down. That was almost like 6 cards. Mature man, twin flame. So yeah, this is quite interesting because y'all, it's like her focus is all on her relationship and her personal life and whatever she's doing, but she's not realizing that she's letting her professional life, take a nosedive because she's only focused on, her dude and what it is that she wants to do. So this is like the Spider-Man meme pointing. Said forgot about her humble beginnings. Yeah, I mean, and this, I don't know if this is somebody that she may know from, back home, but it's like we're like family, you like my family. I didn't expect you to do this, I'm out here riding for you because we're family. That's the vibe that I'm getting from him. Abundance and faith. Yeah, she had him hoping and hanging on the string that, waiting that he was gonna get paid. So he's still hoping that he gets paid. Child sexy gotta get this together. Especially when you out here with bricks of money walking around talking about how bossed up you are. You gotta pay folks. Yep, you got the boss here, the house. This yeah, this is getting personal. Imprisonment, ritual. So it looked like she's blaming him. She want him locked up. He's telling her, I don't know what you're talking about. And yeah, you owe me and I want my money. So this is just wow. And it's messed up because it's like, this is one of those, yeah, two wrongs don't make a right, but at the same token, you can't be not paying people and think that everybody is going to allow you to play with them like that. Give people their money. They work for it. Pay people. Do good business. So we're gonna get out of that one, child. Ain't no telling what she about to face with Tay Keith's estate. They could be suing her as well because her and Tay Keith were already going to court for the, I believe, like I said, 11 songs that he said he hadn't been paid, uh, haven't been paid for. So we got sexy out the way here. Alrighty. Let's see. Is Atlantic trying to replace Cardi with Trim? We'll do that one now. And then how we got to see how Monaleo is tied off into this because it feels very pivotal the way that they're kind of like angling Monaleo. And I feel for Monaleo because I don't think she realizes that, she could be used as a pawn in this situation, so to speak. But, folks is working, they got to get their money. So let's see, is Trill supposed to be a replacement for Cardi? That would be interesting for sure. They just had her on this year's freshman double XL. And to be honest, y'all, this double XL was it. Maybe it's me. It just looked weak sauce. Nothing about it stood out to me. Said I need Monaleo to run. To run. Listen to your spirit team. It's one thing for people to be tapped in. It's another thing for people to not get distracted. When they're around the glitz and the glam. It's hard. Show me Atlantic. Are they planning to try to replace Cardi with Trump? So this talks about taking a gamble, two of pentacles to work together, contract negotiation agreement relationship. Okay. Taking a gamble to work with Trim. Lace. Oh, so y'all, it's about to be a shakeup over here. Now I gotta say allegedly and for entertainment purposes only, but it looks like there's about to be a shakeup at Atlantic. The foundation over there is about to be completely from the ground floor up, broken down and dismantled and rebuilt. Ooh wee. Or at least they're gonna try to rebuild. Now, I don't know if this is the investigation for what's going on with the music industry that's going to cause them problems, but it seems like there can be a lot of internal fighting over there. Five of Wands at the bottom of the deck. Somebody about to be fighting some kind of legal case. It looks like. I don't know if this is the label or if this is just somebody in general, but this is the hangman, not knowing how to move forward, the emperor. So yeah, this is the big brass over there at Atlantic. They're about to shake up the whole playing field over there. They're looking at, who is going to stay and who is going to go. I picked that up before. There's going to be some really big surprises over there. Seven of coins, two of cups. Yeah, they got a lot invested and they're waiting for a return to a cups or someone that they work with closely for stability, or someone that they engaged with to give stability, that they gave a lot of money. Six of Pentacles, the world cycle has come to a close. Cardi child, you might need to be thinking about what your next opportunity is going to be because y'all, it's not just Cardi that needs to be concerned. They're trimming a lot of fat over here. You said she's playing with fire. Her love don't seem like her action because she was just talking mess about the camera. Oh, camel. Got it. Oh, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. Yeah, the Empress and the Wheel of Fortune. So they're only trying to work with who's going to really help them make a certain amount of money to get them back to whatever the glory was in the past. But it's like when I say deep cuts, a lot of deep cuts are about to be made. Said Lizzo definitely getting cut. Oop, Five of Cups. This talks about, shame and public humiliation, regret over, accepting a contract for work, going to be sorry. Hold on, because boom, there's a tower coming to that record label. The last time I seen a combination like this, um, hold on, it just trying to think because there was somebody in particular I saw a combination like this, and I said that they were going to be released, and it ended up happening. It's gonna be some hurt feelings over here in Atlantic. Oh, it's about to be some hurt feelings. And if they possibly actually ink the deal to like, do music with the baddies and things of that nature, y'all, they're going for whoever's gonna be the most cost effective that's gonna make them a lot of money. It's like you can't go on being a legacy act anymore. That's not good enough. You got to actually keep the lights on. The Hermit, Dark Night of the Soul, Death. So if Trim does go over here to Atlantic, it feels like it's going to be bittersweet because whatever the treatment was that they used to give, like they're gonna make sure she's able to be presentable, but it's not gonna be like the budgets of the old Atlantic by far. Said Elliot Grange, don't care who it is. Yeah, the devil and the page of coins. And see, this is why you got to slow down sometimes. You can't, be too thirsty and drink from just any cup. Not all opportunities are good opportunities because what they used to be in the past doesn't have anything to do with who they are today. You got to go by who's going to give you the best deal for what you're doing right now. But it seems like she's obsessed with the idea of working with them, but I feel that when it comes down to it, there's gonna be regret. Like there's a lot of people over there that are shook. They don't know the future of what's going on. I mean, y'all mentioned Lizzo, but who would have ever thought 2, 3 years ago that the Lizzo that was doing, arena shows and state, those types of shows would only be selling, 2,600, 3,000 in units. Like you would have never thought that would be a thing. And this is telling me right here, she doesn't know what she's getting herself off into. Ooh, excuse me, mercy, mercy, mercy. So it's like she's heard the rumors over there, but she's only concerned with getting to the money. But I just feel like when it comes to Trim, she needs some artist development. She needs a little bit more time to polish her and her sound. I mean, I'm a huge person when it comes to artist development anyway, because a lot of these artists, their career is not going to last long because it's certain essentials they don't have, and they're not being taught. They don't know a lot of the things they need to do to progress as a professional because it's no longer required to make sure that people have those things anymore. So you got the Nine of Wands here, which saying to me that, the label feels like, it's a hard time, it's a little rocky. We're gonna have to trim the fat, but we're gonna make it through this and we're gonna get back on top. And they're willing to do some more out of the box type things to revamp the company, but it's something is really, really upside down. Yeah, Four of Cups talks about rejection. That's someone in the office, some the executive rejecting something, lots of anxiety. and it's happening very, very swiftly. So yeah, it's more artists that are going to be cut. It seems I don't know what it is with them. It seems like the magic number for being cut is like 50. Every time they cut artists, they shell 50 artists, cut 50 artists. It's like how many people y'all got over there? Y'all keep dropping 50 people at a time, allegedly. That just seems a little interesting that you would keep dropping that many people or close to that many people at a time. I mean, labels always are going to have unsung heroes that we never get to hear or never get to see, or you know um product gets shelved and then they got to go elsewhere. That's not a surprise, but it's a surprise to me to see so many dropped consistently. So Night of Staffs, they're looking for the one, but it's like everything right now feels hit or miss, but they're willing to take a chance because they got to get that roster back up over there. And it's like they're dropping people to open up whatever the budget is. And then these new people, they can buy them for pennies on the dollar because they can build them and kind of like breadcrumb them until they have to give them bigger budgets. So it's it's like they can put trim on like, festival shows, things like that, until they can build her up to go out and do bigger shows. Show me the success of Trim's next upcoming project, this album that she's gonna be eventually working on. So they're trying to hurry up and push her so they can get, money. That's what this comes down to. They're willing to work with her, hurry up and push her to get money. It's like they know that she's hot right now, or she's, you know, building a brand. She's getting her notoriety up. So they want to strike while the iron is hot with her, while they can keep her in the algorithm. Excuse me, y'all. I'm sleepy. She may want to slow this down and really get her a good lawyer to look over her contract, because it feels like she's more so worried about high visibility and being seen. But she's going to have to face this right here, the miserly energy, where you're coming in looking for them to heavily invest in you, and child, they could bring you in there and let you just sit around and collect dust. So she needs to really, really, not jump at what seems like the first, bigger opportunity. She needs to just find the right opportunity, because bigger does not always mean better. So it's like celebrating, and she's like trying to, keep hope, keep the faith, because she's thinking that, this is going to be really, really great for her. And it's not saying that it's not going to be a good opportunity for her, because let's face it, we until recently, a lot of people didn't know who Trim was. A lot of people were like, Trim, who the hell is Trim? Who was that? Said they would sign Trim right now for like $1 million for 6 projects. And the interesting thing is, people don't understand that that's not as much as they think, because that $1 million, you got to budget that accordingly. Um, the label is always going to recoup everything and get their money back. And then you got to get out there and find a way to make your money on top of what you have to pay them back. So 6 albums, and unless you really have it in you, you got to be careful with signing anything above 4 to 5 albums. You really do, because you're not guaranteed to be able to do that many albums successfully. Said the side part, I don't think she would say no to that. A lot of people wouldn't, because they're not going to break down what that 1 million looks like, broke down between 6 albums, and then how much they're going to make. Would you say she need to sign for a half an album? How the hell you gonna sign for doing a half an album? Lord have mercy. No, you said the typos. Hey, don't worry about it. You got the moon here, which talks about, she needs to really tap into her intuition because there's a lot going on here that she doesn't know. And I feel like she really goes to her mom a lot. She's a mommy's girl, but her mom doesn't know what needs to be known about this industry. So I would always say, baby, get you a good lawyer, get you the kind of lawyer that walk in the room and people be like, damn. Invest in your lawyer before you invest in jewelry. Invest in your lawyer before you invest in exotic sports cars. Um, More of them damn $3 wigs. Child, take your time. Get the right team and look at where the market is today versus where it's been because it's not the same anymore. Like Atlantic was really big when you look at 8 to 9 years ago, and it makes you think how much of those sales from Atlantic were pure sales for the artists versus how much may have possibly been bots and marketing. Now, of course, they had some heavy hitters over there, but you just had Ed Sheeran that just left, who is definitely a big deal when it comes to sales. You've got this whole thing with um, Bruno Mars. Child, Bruno Mars popped out of nowhere, did what felt like an emergency album, and went on tour. And it's like, how in the hell did you go on tour? We didn't even know you had a project out. But hey, his fans are loyal. They were ready, and that feels like that's what they're looking for. So here, yeah, Queen of Cups and the Knight of Cups in reverse. This talks about intuition being cloudy over an offer that you might not want to accept because it's like she'll make money, but it's not going to move the way that she expects it to. Her money is going to accumulate a lot slower because this company is not forking out the money it used to fork out. So Ed Sheeran got to fuck on ASAP. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. And with his name, he can do whatever it is that he really wants to do and be just fine. Now, something is going on with him and his wife, so it's like he's having his little, I don't want to reduce it to little, but it's like he's having relationship problems with his wife. He may be facing a divorce allegedly. So it's like he's got so much going on, but if we take it from the great Mary J. Blige, sometimes that's what needs to happen. Relationship issues, everything go to hell, make an album about it. So you've got the justice here, and justice represents the Libra. We know there's an air sign over here, of course. Page of coins, like of course, it's like just talking about business. So the hermit. Now that's interesting. Y'all, these two, that's gonna be a that's going to be a very interesting dynamic. I couldn't even get it out because you got the Six of Swords here at the bottom of the deck, which talks about possibly being warned to stay away from somebody or to move on from somebody because they're toxic. So are they going to use Cardi to work with this girl and because if so, y'all, this feels like you training somebody on a job and then you get fired and find out that the trainee took your job. So Seven of Swords to the Judgment. Child is Seven of Swords to the Judgment. That talks about being very strategic and possibly kind of, we'll say, open-minded with your tactics. But judgment. So yeah, this is gonna be a very, very interesting thing to watch. I feel a meltdown coming in five, four, three, two, and one. Ooh wee. Yeah, definitely gonna be a meltdown because you got the judgment here attached to the Wheel of Fortune. Wheel of Fortune usually is a great card to see, but if you see a judgment in front of the Wheel of Fortune, that means you can lose the entire Wheel of Fortune due to judgment. That's a terrible combination. So spaces is about to run out of space. Ooh, Lord. So you got the Knight of Swords here. We should be hearing something soon about if this is definite, but y'all, so the execs are being messy as far as I'm concerned because it's like they want the artist to smell blood in the water so that they'll fight harder for the opportunity. Allegedly, allegedly, allegedly. Like we gonna make you work. You gonna get out there and get this bread. So they gonna make it feel like like the fight club of the record label, to where you got to fight to prove that you deserve to stay on the roster. So if she gets over there and she don't produce, child, they not gonna produce no damn budget for her either. So she might want to pipe down a little bit with all that bravado. And I'm not saying that she can't be cocky as a rapper. That's not it at all. It's more so with her, you know, trying to give the Muhammad Ali, I'm the greatest alive type energy when you haven't even had enough time to lace up your shoes yet. You're just now getting into this. You've got so much further to go. It's so much bigger than what you know. And she's about to have a crash course that she doesn't expect. Allegedly, allegedly, allegedly. But all I know is Atlantic got a plan for somebody if they pop out pregnant again. That's all I got to say. Pop out pregnant again, and then your label got a plan. All right, so I want to look at the energy around Monaleo and how they seem to be angling her. Show me the energy around Monaleo. Okay, so you got chasing clout and real receipts. That's an interesting combination. So chasing clout, it says they're addicted to the attention and the thirst is starting to show. The spotlights the God, even if it means faking the whole storyline. So, what that tells me is this: not necessarily chasing the clout. This feels like Mona Leo is chasing the bag. She don't really care about none of what nobody talking about is, did that check clear? Okay, we good. Ex drama, backstab, I will tell you this. They better watch how they deal with Monaleo because Monaleo has been through a lot. And if you know her story, it's a very touching, humbling story because she battled depression and um, thoughts of unalivement. We'll say that. So to see her go from that to getting married and having a baby and having a family, I was actually happy for her because she had just lost her mother and she was going through a lot mentally and emotionally. And she's still rather young. So you got fake profile, sober life. And that right there is saying that it's not just the filter, it's a full blown facade. This person is being presented doesn't match the reality behind the scenes. So with that falling in line with sober life, she's really, really about to see how these people move, the type of things that they do, and it's going to be a very, very, I want to say, eye-opening situation for her because she also is someone that's off into spirituality and things of that nature. So spiritually, her eyes are about to be open to a lot. Status symbol, plot twist. Show me the plot twist. Third wheel. A side character is trying to write themselves into the main plot, but this story already has a leading role. Trusted friend. So yeah, y'all, this is gonna get a little rocky. And like I said, I feel a little sensitive with Mona Leo because I remember her past history. Third wheel, third wheel, third wheel. Court date, live and learn. So not necessarily it should be taking anybody to court, but it says the courtroom might be the stage, but the real drama started long before the documents were filed. So that tells me right there, baby girl, make sure you got all your ducks in a row. Don't just do things off of the love, off of the humble or the social media imprint. Make sure that paperwork is paperwork and then they paying you because live and learn is like you'll end up finding out on the back end that yeah, I got high clicks and visibility, but I didn't get nothing out of it. So spirit realm is telling her to maximize her opportunities because this could be short lived. Whatever this is that she's being promised through this group, the audacity, trusted friend. Um, she's got a couple more betrayals she's gonna go through, and I hope that she doesn't end up in a position that it could test her marriage because unfortunately the industry is a real good way to end up single. Heartbreak, plot twist. Yeah, none of this is the way she thought it was. And I don't want to see this put her in a dark place because she fought so hard to get out of depression and those thoughts of harming herself. You said and don't eat that gumbo. Yeah, all money definitely ain't good money. Throwing shade, trusted friend. So, oh, thank you. I greatly appreciate you as well. Membership, I got a picture that I want to put up of, me, my sister, and another family member. And I just wanted y'all to see, the energy after we did that last reading for, that person that we talked about, everybody in membership, y'all y'all practically already know, but you'll see a picture And just to let y'all know, for those of you that tapped in to Patricia Carter, I thank you because some of the things that y'all tapped into are already coming into fruition. And it seemed like it's moving fast. And the craziest part of it is not only is it moving fast, I had to remember Mercury retrograde literally starts in a few days. So a lot of things are going to be coming, full circle. A lot of things are going to be hitting the fan. So I just wanted to give y'all an update. Hi, Joyfully Zen, expecting and living learn. And yeah, I think she's going to realize that this is a dirty game and not for the reasons that people expect. Um, like I said, Monaleo's husband is actually good for her because he helps to soothe her spirit. But y'all, I see something coming where these people could possibly put her in a position to try to break up her family, and she needs to hold down the fort because certain folks in entertainment, they don't want you in a relationship. They like to have full control over you. Okay, they like you to be in a position to where if they need to, you don't have anybody to be there to support you because they have the upper hand. So she needs to really, really hold steadfast to her marriage because these are some really shady people. Yeah, Tarot Destiny. Oh my gosh. That's part of the reason why I'm so tired because I have literally been ripping and running, but goodness gracious. You got making peace, real receipts. So, she's definitely about that life when it comes to, if you're going to say something, I'm going to come to the table with the paperwork. So she's not an easy person to control or manipulate. Leo is the type that she's going to do what she's going to do, and you're not going to force her to do anything. But at the same token, like I said, much respect to her, and I remember her struggle, and it took her a lot to get to where she is now. And I think she made a really beautiful transition out of a painful situation. Said abusers isolate you for more control. Yes, they do. Is she independent or signed to Pebble Nation? I believe she's independent, but we're going to see if they get her to sign maybe to a distribution deal or to management because they'll probably try to get her to sign to management. Said Monaleo is said is a D rider for the horse. If she continues, she will learn the hard way, unfortunately. Hmm. I don't know about her being a D rider for the horse. She may be playing it cute for opportunities with Pebble Nation. But if I'm not mistaken, her and Ken the Man both said at certain points in time that the horse was borrowing from the both of them. And she said that she wanted to work with the horse, but got ignored to a certain extent. So we'll have to see how it works out. So she signed to another label, I believe. Okay, I believe it could be more like management, something like that. Or at least they're trying to get her under the fold. Said, do you think Ken the Man kind of upset because she didn't get the notoriety of Monaleo and Beyonce? Upset for what? Ken the Man been around for a minute. She just because Monaleo took a picture with Beyonce don't mean she got notoriety. That means she took a picture with Beyonce, it went viral. It don't make you notable. Y'all got to remember when the Stallion came into the mix, what did they do? got her to take a picture with Beyonce. Yeah, it looked cute in the beginning, but it's like being able to maintain that is what's key. You got to maintain it. You could take a picture with anybody. It don't mean that it's going to make you more profitable. It just makes you more seen because people got to know who you are when they see the picture. How many people are going to see the picture and say, "Okay, I know that's Beyonce, but who is that?" Just because people see Monaleo in the picture with Beyonce doesn't mean they're going to go out and stream her. Said, I hope Monaleo will be careful about these people because this is a dangerous zone. I agree. Living large and plot twist. So here's the thing, and I believe that this is the difference with Monaleo. Monaleo is actually already living a good life. She's already living a comfortable life. So when it comes to her and the horses, y'all say, um, it don't look like, she's living a borrowed lifestyle, an Airbnb lifestyle. She's actually living a good life. She's actually comfortable, and her being more of an independent artist is like she's touching more of her own money. So I think she signed a distribution deal with the label. I don't remember, but it's not Rock Nation. I don't know if she works with her husband because I believe he was involved in music, but she lives a very comfortable life. So T Spill falls under status symbol and big break. So she is looking at this as if this could be her big break. But you got third wheel here, which means there's something else going on here where she needs to be very careful when she signs with them because a third wheel means there's something that's going to attach an extra energy or entity to this agreement that she's not going to actually want to, agree with. Misunderstood and plot twist. So Monaleo is a firecracker, okay? And she ain't easy to control. She, sweet girl, but she's a firecracker when she gets it popping. So they're not going to be able to handle her in a certain way. Toxic ties, court date, sober life. So she sees a lot more clearer than they think she does. The audacity. So once again, like I said, going viral, fantasy world. It don't look like they really offering her much of nothing. It's like she got the impression, she got the clicks and views, but whatever they're offering her, it doesn't look like it's an offer that would really, 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 be something that would pan out for her in the long run. Now I ain't went to Twitch yet. I'm gonna go to Twitch when I get off of here. Yeah, big break. And big break falls under heartbreak. So this would definitely, in the long run, not turn out to be a good deal for her if she's signed to their management. So yeah, curated image, finding out that stuff is fake. It's a controlled atmosphere and environment. Stuff is fake. Yep, they got a hidden agenda, boiling point, plot twist. So it's a lot more to this than what it appears to be. And it seems like they wanted to get her over there solely for the point of possibly helping them. Um, Child, they better not have thought they were going to get her to get on their team to see if she can diss the pink lady. Because you got throwing shade is the hidden agenda and the boiling point. This feels very desperado, you know, very, very desperado. So they may have been looking to do an alliance with her to see if they can use her. See if they can use her against Nikki allegedly. Child have mercy. So I'm gonna leave that one alone. Um, you know what? I'm gonna go with we're gonna go ahead and go to Oprah, and then I'm gonna wrap this up, take a quick break, and then come back on Twitch so that we can get off into some things on Twitch, and we'll finish up the rest of the topics on Twitch. But we're definitely about to dig into why did Oprah lie on Whitney Houston allegedly? Why did she allegedly lie on Whitney Houston? She said Nikki is one of her biggest inspirations. I could see that, but it looks like they wanted her to come over there to get up under their umbrella to help them with whatever they got going against her. And she's realizing that, you know, she's if she hasn't realized it yet, I'll say this: if she hasn't realized it yet, she's gonna realize that they're not sincere. So let's see. Hold on. We're gonna start off with a few oracles, and then I'm gonna go up into some tarot. And I know Nippy, not Whitney, Nippy is in her bag over there. Like, I know you lied. How dare you get up and say something about me? Shit, my phone over here popping. I'm gonna get back to y'all shortly. All righty. Show me the energy around why did Oprah decide to tell this story? What was the point in Oprah telling this story? So you got caught a case in creativity. So it says steals your ideas, copies your work, duplicates, feeds off of you. And so the way that I'm looking at this, because Carter Case talks about sexual infections, diseases, and rashes. I feel like this was to, you know, sully her image because if you bring what looks like, you know, infection and all of that to a situation, it makes it less desirable. It makes it, you know, where people will make it like a hot potato, like, oh, I don't want to touch that. Let me get away from that. So it was definitely meant, first of all, for entertainment purposes. Everything said is alleged, allegedly. Allegedly, allegedly, all things said are for entertainment purposes. So she definitely wanted to, you know, put a scar on her name, on her reputation. Okay, wait a minute. That's a lot. Oh, okay. Okay. So we got dusted off, which is her, you know, trying to dust off something from the past, bring up something from the past. It says she has no facts. People are uninterested in what she's saying. People are looking up the past to see if they can find any correlation. She feels like she wants the public back. She knows that she pissed off a lot of people with this one, and broke ass people are they're completely staying away from her. People are deeply in their head about what's been said. Hold on, what I miss? Oh, congrats, the baby graduated. Congrats, congrats, congrats. So, y'all, the cards are saying point blank, period. There are no facts to what she's saying, allegedly. People are uninterested in what she's saying, and they're looking it up for themselves. And now it's like she wants to get back into, good graces with the public, and they're not having it. So this is going to greatly affect her. I don't think she thought telling this story was going to cause her problems, but child, yesterday's fame is not today's fame. People are very, very deeply in their head about what was said. Like, why would you bring this up now? Yeah, the public is not for it. Move in silence, ego. So she's trying to be quiet right now and act like this is not a big deal. But us not paying her no mind, child, it hurt her feelings. She didn't like the whole internet telling her to shut the hell up. Yeah, threatening, intimidating, bothered, and ain't shit. Y'all heard the comment sections are in shambles. People are tearing her from limb to limb. And I feel like as they should. So she wants to stick with too busy winning. She doesn't want anybody to think that this is bothering her at all, but it is. Uh, she's getting a lot of like hateful comments. People are upset. What I tell you, people upset, talking shit. Yeah, everybody is like, why are you dragging Whitney? Y'all, I'm literally channeling a Whitney song right now. Um, this was from, I want to say, what year was this? The song is Why You Looking at Me. If you go to Apple Music or Spotify, it's like the song is Why You Looking at Me. And in that song, Whitney talks about people trying to dirty up her name, people lying on her, people always watching her, always in her business. That's what the song is about. So interesting enough that I channeled that in my thoughts, like inside scoop, fishing for comments. I told y'all the comment section is tearing her up. And people are going through the comments, they're reading each other comments, people are researching. This is the first time that they're realizing that people no longer look at Oprah as an authority. It's really, really bad. Hunted and unbothered, kissing ass. So it's like she's going to have to make amends with the public for what she said. And if she doesn't, the public is literally going to turn on her, whether she knows it or not. And this is not just Black America. There's a lot of white people that grew up listening to Whitney and they love Whitney to pieces. So people of all ethnic groups are upset about this. You said love that song. Okay. Yes, like Michael and Janet Scream. I love that song. Yeah, Jackpot. Moving on. So she thought she was going to have this massive moment, and people are leaving. They're leaving Oprah behind. Folks don't want nothing to do with Oprah, and this just really, really, really made people way more upset with Oprah because they. And I agree with them. It was like, what was the point of this? What? Why would you the same week as Clive Davis passing away have to tell this story, and then we're finding out that this story could be fraudulent. That makes it way worse. Well, the spirit realm is spoken. They said she ain't shit. Would you say home with toilet paper and Lee Daniels? Well, damn, what the hell y'all talking about? Anybody remember when Lee Daniels wore that newscaster at 7 wig? Child, that wig took me and threw me completely, completely sent me. Like Lee Daniels, who in the hell got you this Ted Compo wig? Please burn it. Throw it the hell away. You don't remind y'all, if you don't remember, go to Google and look up Lee Daniels in a wig. And I guarantee you, come back in the comments when you see the wig. Like, child, he just knew he was it in that wig. You couldn't tell him nothing in that silky number 3 that he had on his head. That wig, oh, that wig was a fool. You said that was funny as hell. Woo, girl fight. Moving on. So it feels like Oprah's gonna try to slide out of this. Like, well, I didn't mean anything by it. I was just telling the story. But people are like, when you look at moving silence, like she got the bigger picture. The public is, you see that finger? The public is telling her, shut your ass up. Shut your ass up. Yes, he was looking like a fake news anchor. He looking like, what's that damn movie, Anchorman? He had on the Anchorman wig. Oh my God, that wig was atrocious. And he wore that wig out in public. They took pictures of him crossing the street in traffic, looking like a lost ass Labrador. It was terrible. He said he looked like James Brown. James Brown had better, he had better appeal to his damn hair. He looked good until he went to jail. It's the mug shots that messed up James Brown pressing apparel. So look, remember what I told y'all. The public is telling her, shut your ass up about Whitney's possible addiction issues. People don't want to hear it. I don't think she thought that this was going to even be a thing. Bottom of the deck karmic friend, which means you're no good. You were never a friend to her. You said, I said he got on the Rod Burgundy wig. Now this wasn't no Janice Cone. This was that silky, silky soul silver. He had a silky knife. The type where you go to comb it and the comb fell out. Ooh, that wig was not, it was not it. Oh, it was not it. Just stop it. But the good thing is he never put it on again. He felt like a Puerto Rican in that hair. I told y'all go look at the hair. I seen that picture. I said, maybe, maybe you know what? I don't have an excuse. I can't even lie for you. What are you doing? What are you doing? Was that supposed to be your spicy time wig and you just happen to wear it outside? No. So you got marrying for money and wolf in sheep's clothing. And when you got marrying for money, this isn't necessarily about getting married. This is about going into contract negotiation and agreement for a profit. And it's like, who is Oprah in bed with that convinced her that this was the story to tell? I mean, to me, in my opinion, this just provided evidence that Oprah is not for her community. I don't care what she says. Oprah is not for her community because, not to even make this a race thing, but sometimes you got to. If this was a white artist like Ozzy Osbourne, who has notoriously his whole entire life had issues with addiction to the point that nobody know what the hell he's saying but Sherry. Would she be on that stage sharing that story about a Ozzy Osbourne if something like that happened to him? I guarantee you not. I guarantee you not. We would have never heard this before since she's never been for the community. Uh-oh. Okay, so we got creativity in reverse, legal issues in reverse, and you got running in reverse. It's something that she can't outrun. She thought that she had, somehow, some way beat a situation, got out of a situation, and creativity in reverse. It feels like the bigger picture with her is that she's not able to come up with the content that she used to. So let's say she had writers, she had a team of producers and people that help to keep things interesting. It's like she doesn't know how to keep things interesting by herself anymore. It's like she's out of touch. Fake accounts. So yeah, people no longer see her as a reputable talk show host, journalist. Yeah, karmic friends and talking shit, photo proof evidence. So yeah, it's like people went back and checked out their timeline, and they realized that it looks like, child, not only are you talking crazy, you're not even telling the truth, you're not a real friend at all. A karmic is a friend of me, a hater. Said, okay, because she's the same damn woman who had an ankle monitor on her own. And sure didn't come out and tell us about why during quarantine her ankle had that nice monstrosity on it. Her and Ellen. So you got inside scoop stalker. Okay, so she may have, had to hunt Whitney down to get that interview in the first place when she did interview her. So if you were to talk to someone on Whitney's team, Whitney may not have been really huge on the idea of sitting down and talking to Oprah, but she looked at it as, this is a black woman, this is a black talk show. I'll support um unbothered and hunted. She's gonna pretend like she doesn't care to the public, but this is going to stay on her for a while. Shine. People are looking stuff up. They're shining lights on the inconsistencies in what she's been saying. There you go, digging for dirt. They're researching this, and people are finding information, finding out that what you're saying isn't true because y'all were in two places, two different places. So there's no way she could have been all the way over there and over here. Y'all, these people don't, sometimes when you're from an older generation, you forget about how technology works. Not to say that she doesn't understand technology, but I don't think she thought that people in a million years would be on their phone like, hmm, where was Whitney at during this time? Was she scheduled? Was she booked? Was she on Oprah? Blah, 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 blah. Oh, she was on tour. She wasn't even in the country. I don't think she thought that people would track that down and find that fast. You said people gave her a chance after the Whitney interview. Then her dumbass turned around and tried Michael twice, and it was over for her. Yeah, Prince seemed like he was annoyed with her too. And don't forget Tony Braxton. I didn't like the way she handled Tony. Said, yes, she did. I remember that picture with the ankle monitor. I remember her and Ellen because Ellen was, if I'm not mistaken, Ellen was doing her show from home and she was trying to sit a certain way to position herself so you didn't see it. My nosy ass seen. So you got wasting time and scarcity tactic. So wasting time for me in this situation is more like buying time. And what is she buying time for? Because it's like jackpot to wasting time. So jackpot to wasting time is she thought that this was going to be big. something that she could, use and turn into more content, it's not working that way. So her being salacious, thinking she could go in the way of how messy bloggers go, nobody respected it. Like you're supposed to be a journalist, absolutely not. So you're correct. And yeah, she was talking sideways to Tony. Said Whitney was on Oprah before the comeback tour. Whitney performed. I didn't know my own strength. I remember that. Happiness hater, digging up dirt. This is the way the public is looking at her. Hey, Nisi. Well, that's the thing. People want to know, why would you do this? Why did you come out with this story almost, 15, 17 years later? Because she's saying this happened in 2009. So it's like, child, you went out there and told her all of this, and now people calling you a lie, and they're finding the evidence. It's, and look, it's affecting her ego. Obsessive lover. Like she didn't think in a million years that people would challenge her and her integrity. Like, I'm Oprah. Of course it's true. I said it. But here it is, Queen Rising, wolf in sheep's clothing. So people are about to start dragging Oprah, and they're going to start breaking down her career to find out when she became this wolf in sheep's clothing. Child, I smell either a documentary or a bunch of people doing deep dives on Oprah, going back through when she was big Oprah and she first started her show coming out of Chicago. And hell, they might take it all the way back to Nashville when she was dating John Tesh. If you don't know who John Tesh is, he used to be a host on Entertainment Tonight with Mary Hart with her legs up under the desk. And these two dated way back, way, way, way back, many, many moons ago. Said Oprah used to be a really big deal. Her association to predators sullied that a long time ago. I think that's a part of the program, with people detaching from her. I think people who remember that African school and wondering what all happened to those children, that definitely did it to her. And then to see how she mishandled a lot of black celebrities, it's like, you can pick from each one. Hold on, let me read this. Said, how do you stop a radio show? I love listening to John Tish, has a great radio voice. Said, remember, John of God issues. Man, let's not forget. Thank you for reminding me. Let's not forget her spiritual advisor got caught up for allegedly essaying people. So I don't know where she's meeting these people, what circle she's meeting these people in, but how do you keep putting yourself in a position to, especially as a woman, to be associated with all these predators? It's just quite weird to me. Said Pat Houston made a statement about it, and there was a fall due to a malfunction of some sort. Well, what she said was that they didn't have proper lighting. And when she was there, it was she was unable to see the full parameter of the stage because they didn't have the lighting the way that it was supposed to be. So due to it being dark, she literally, stepped off the stage and fell because she couldn't see, you know, she couldn't gauge, I'll put it that way. She couldn't gauge the parameter of the stage because she couldn't see. There were no real lights on to let her be able to really, really know where she was supposed to be to perform. Now, I find that very interesting because any of y'all, if you've ever, performed on a stage or on a set, what people usually don't see is that there's usually an X or some tape somewhere on the floor that marks where you're supposed to stand. And they're supposed to make it, clear around the parameter of the stage so that you know where the stage ends so that you don't fall off and hurt yourself for that very purpose. Um, People who remember Heavy D and the Boys, one of his dancers lost his life for that very reason. He misjudged the stage and fell off. You say yes, the Brazilian man, he was sentenced to 118 years for essay of a lot of women. Lord have mercy. He's gonna wake up in his next lifetime still in jail. Oh, I definitely remember how she did Monique, and she played in her family business, which I thought was very, 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 very disrespectful, being that Oprah has a very unsavory family history herself, according to her own admission. But I tell you one thing, nothing made me cackle harder than Jason Momoa when he dragged her in the rock for telling people to help donate to Hawaii. And he's like, you asking the people to donate for $10 million. Both of you raggedy motherfuckers got $10 million in your pocket. Stop begging the people to give something you can give out of your pocket. And I'm paraphrasing on what he said, but child, I was here for it. And then she went over there and she took her film crew to the shelter, and the shelter turned her away and told her that she would not use that moment to exploit people in their, moment of being destitute. So she's been getting her aha moments a lot the last 2 years. You said that was awesome of him to say, oh yeah, he tore her and the rock up, and neither one of them said a word back. So you got child services here, obsessive lover, and it just feels like it just feels like, excuse me, there was the even the way that the interview was set up, it felt like it was set up for a hit piece. Because to see child services, for those of you that don't remember, there were a lot of issues where people wanted to call child services for Bobby Christina. So for that to even come out, it's like that was something that she wanted to talk to her about. Like there, and this is where Monique talks about how Oprah likes to throw people under the bus. She likes to put people in positions to where she asks you questions knowing that she's setting you up to look bad. Okay, said I used to work with Monique's sister in Houston at a call center. That woman was so jealous of her sister and loved the essay brother. Oh, wow. Damn it, that's sad. Sometimes family can be the worst, and that's when you just got to separate from people and go your own way. So, spiritual hater. Okay, yeah. Oprah is really, really losing grip on the people, and it feels like her and Jay have the same problem right now. They can't handle that the public doesn't like them as much as they thought they did, let alone love them, and offer fake accounts. Child, people people are not feeling her, and this is something that's not going to just turn around anytime soon. It's like the beginning of a movement. Photo proof, getting evidence. Remember, I said people are digging up dirt because they want the truth, and it's like the time period you said she was there. She wasn't there during that time. Pat Houston came out and said she was sober. She didn't have anything in her system. You didn't have the lights on to properly light the stage during the sound check. And she fell because she couldn't see the edge of the stage. Like I said, which makes sense. It makes sense. So reject it. Now she's got to sit back and think about this because people are rejecting her, just like how everybody was ready to boycott um over the Michael documentary over there on Netflix. I don't think she expected at all that this would be her energy, her fate. Yeah, this generation is different. They don't care. There is no attachment. They didn't grow up, you know, watching Oprah back in the 90s. They don't have that nostalgia. They look at her for how she represents herself right now today, which I think is actually a good thing. Bankrupt, unfazed. Child, she ain't getting the people back. People going this is gonna put people in a position to where they're gonna be digging up her dirt so that they can air her out. Like you want to air out Whitney, we gonna air you out. Let's find out your tea. So y'all, I'm gonna log off here and I'll be back to do Twitch in about give me 5 minutes. I thank all of you for joining me today for Allegedly Friday, where all things said are alleged and for entertainment purposes. If you'd like to book a reading with me, please reach me at angelkissestheoracle@gmail.com. A 30-minute reading is $44. An hour reading is 88. An ancestral reading is 111, and a criminal aid reading is 250. The criminal aid reading is the only one I have. That's a 3-hour block of time. And y'all, let me go run and do something right quick. I'll see y'all in Twitch in a few minutes. Anybody that wants to join me on Twitch, it's the same exact name, Angel Kisses, the Oracle over on Twitch. And we're getting closer and closer to 1,000. We're almost there. Once we hit 1,000 on Twitch, y'all can come back and see the videos the same way that you do here on YouTube. So give me a moment. I'll see y'all in Twitch. Be back in a moment. Good night, everybody. And if this is where you stop with me over here on YouTube or you come back for the playback, I greatly appreciate you and I thank you for being here. Bye bye.